Welcome back to Emotional Mojo. Our next guest spent 12 years overcoming depression and built a new life, but it wasn't an easy road, and he's here today because he's going to share the secrets to conquering depression when happiness is not an option, and that's a very important part there, I think. Yep. So joining us now to share his journey is speaker and author Jonathan David Malkin. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanit's for sharing this story because, you know, it's a personal
it's not easy to talk about.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, most definitely. I started telling people my story and telling them about depression about a year, 14 months ago.
Okay.
And I was very surprised by the response, right? We all think there's a lot of stigma around it. I was going to networking events and saying, hey, I overcame depression and now I'm writing a book on it and helping people out with it.
Yeah. And we mentioned it was a 12-year journey, so why don't we start where that journey began? Because you graduated college, you started a job, you discovered you had a problem. What was the start of your depression? Where did you notice something was wrong?
Well, I started noticing some things after I started taking on some responsibilities.
Okay.
Right? So
like
after
real world.
Exactly, exactly. After I got out of the womb and into the real world. Exactly.
Cut the cord.
Yeah, and things just went downhill once I lost my job and just going into debt. I had bought a new car. I thought everything was great when I had moved to Chicago and got a new job and all those things. Yeah. And then lost the job, started getting into debt, and I had to move back home and figure out the next step.
But these sound like things a lot of people are dealing with today. So what's the difference here with you're in a rut or you're
in a
facing
funk,
depression?
or I have clinical depression?
Sure, you might be able to address that a lot more than I can. It based on the time, basically, right?
Yeah, and most people will go through waves, you know, with peaks and troughs, and they will have symptoms of depression, but not be clinically diagnosed. And there's a huge difference, so yeah.
Okay. So you're dealing with this, and you kept repeating this mantra to yourself. If I'm not going to kill myself, then. So how did this help you move forward? That's a pretty severe mantra to have, you know?
It is, and it kept me going, I think, for about 3 or 4 years. That's really how I got by day to day.
Wow, that's a long time.
Exactly.
But what did that mean to you, that sentence?
Well, there came a point, I had been laying on the couch for 6 months in my parents' house, and there came a point where I just had to make a choice because I couldn't live that way anymore. And so I thought through, am I going to kill myself? And I stood up and I went to the bathroom and I said, what am I going to do? And I chose at that moment not to. I found out that it wasn't in me to take my life.
So if I'm not going to, what am I going to do with my life?
Exactly.
And so that is what propelled you forward.
When you're in that moment, when you are that depressed, trying to make goals, right? Saying, I'm going to get an apartment or trying to date, that's really out of the question. Trying to set these lofty goals like that is very difficult. You can't even think about those things. Your mind's just confused, really.
It's just really getting day to day rather than, you know.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why I love these tips you have. You say you have daily tips to make you feel better. And the first one, I want my husband to watch this. Make the bed.
Not just get out of bed,
why is
but
that
make
important?
the bed.
Well, the first thing is you have to be out of the bed to make the bed, and that's sometimes that's a hurdle in and of itself.
Of course.
And you're going to walk in and out of that room about a half dozen times before you leave the house. So every time you've got a little signal in the back of your mind, it's either going to say, hey, I like how it feels in here, or it's going to say, I don't really like how it feels in here and I've got a chore to do later.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit deeper than that.
Or it might be inviting you back if it's still unmade, right?
Yeah, it's that checklist you've got in your head of all those things you need to do, you know?
So you make the bed and then you get out of the house. That's the second step.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter what you do when you're out of the house. Just get out.
Or just getting out.
Well, getting out of the house, that's good for during the work week, during the weekend, all those things, because life is out there, right? Sitting in the house, just watching TV, trying to observe things that are going on through a drama or something that you're watching, it's not really living, right? You got to get out of the house and make things happen out in the real world.
And can we just say that for most people, you know, these sound like ridiculous things. You make your bed, you get out of the house, but for someone with clinical depression, these are huge things to do.
Right, right. And I thought so too. When I was encouraged to start writing this book, I thought, I'm not licensed or anything. I've been through it.
But that's the best kind. Give your wisdom.
So your other tips, you say you need support, you need exercise, and you need meditation. The exercise is interesting. We were just talking about Amanda Bynes, and not depression, a little bit of depression mixed in with schizophrenia, but her doctors, part of their prescription for her was to get out there and exercise. Why is this so important to recovery?
Well, there's a number of things I do every day. So you mentioned exercise and meditation. There's things I do to bring my energy up, things I do to deal with confusion, and exercise in particular is something that brings my energy up. So on days that I exercise, I feel pretty good, right? And I go out and I conquer and, build a business and all those things. And on days that I don't, I'm more likely, maybe the weekend, right, to kind of sit around the house and not want to do too much.
Well, and it literally releases endorphins that are feel-good hormones in your brain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it feels good. It may not feel good when you're sweating it out, but it feels good afterwards,
Well,
right?
and the key is when you look better, you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
So Tara's got this book of yours. Tell us about the book, what people will find in it, and why it's so helpful for them.
Sure. So in the book, The Road to Hell and Back, I talk about my story of conquering depression over a 12-year period. So everything from laying on the couch for 6 months to getting out and rebuilding my life into something really good and beyond. Really going on to be successful by the things that I learned during that period. And so you're going to find my story, certainly. You're going to find the strategies and the philosophies that you have to go through. And a lot of tips. Most of the book is really the day-to-day things that you can
And
do.
that's what people need.
Well, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
making yourself so vulnerable.
Yeah. What's
To
the
write it.
website people can go to learn more?
TheRoadToHellAndBack.com.
Oh, there you go. Can't
Thank
forget
you.
that
Thank
one.
you. We're going to have you play some Yes No with us. You want to join us for that?
Sounds like fun.
All right, we're going
here's
to give
your
you a
card.
sign.
Yes,
So
no.
the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has released a shocking new commercial. It's meant to discourage people, especially teens, from texting and driving, but some say it's a little too disturbing. Take a look.
Nobody likes to be stopped by the police, but if I'd seen her texting while driving and given her a ticket, it just might have saved her life.
So experts say that combo of shocking ads and police crackdowns will save lives. But do you think the shock value of these ads is too much?
No, I don't.
No, no, no.
We have got to do something to shock people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
We all say no.
Yeah, we all
Do
say
you
no.
think these are effective?
I really don't think they're effective. This one's obviously aimed at a young audience because the people in the car
Right.
are young.
Yeah.
And they're going to do what they do.
Yeah.
Right? So it's more of a social thing. If their friends are not texting, if they're all saying, hey, this is a problem, they'll stop doing it. But
Yep.
they may talk about this commercial and say, wow, this was a shocking commercial. And they
But
may
is it
do
gonna
it by
make them
texting
change?
people in the
Yeah.
car. You know?
Check this out. Claire Diaz-Ortiz works as the social innovation manager for Twitter, so it seems only natural that when she went into labor, she broke the news. Where else? On Twitter. It started with news of her water breaking and followed her sometimes hilarious trials of forgetting to pack a bag, her cab overheating and breaking down, and her husband's confusion. Her celebrity friends even joined in with words of encouragement. In the end, she posted a picture of her new baby girl, Lucia Paz, who, by the way, already has a Twitter handle and more followers than me. Now, many think this is an adorable story, others not so much. They think it's weird or TMI to live tweet labor and delivery. What do you think? Do you think it's acceptable to live tweet personal moments?
Absolutely.
That's
I
what Twitter
think
is all
so.
about.
Why are we all agreeing
We
all
are
the time?
today.
These are
This
just, yeah.
is the age we live in, and this story especially was beautiful. I thought it was fun.
Well, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, but she's the. I mean, this is what she
Works
does.
for Twitter, yeah, it makes
Hello.
sense.
Yeah.
What do you guys
And
think?
Twitter's a live stream, so I
Yeah.
mean, you want to be in the know, and that's the best way to find what's happening.
And that baby is adorable.
Yes. And everybody's glued. What's happening
Yeah,
next?
I don't know. I thought it was cool. Thank you so much for joining us. We really
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it. You guys will be right back when we return. A dog being hailed a hero after sniffing out something very unusual on his owner. Find out how he saved her life. Then.